It's March 7th, 2022. I'm watching GMA, but the afternoon edition where the colors change. And now I'm watching it and they're talking about nuclear radiation, which of course I know nothing about other than the amount of light looks like a fluorescent tube, but I don't know if that qualifies as radiation with gamma rays. I mean, that's what it says on a piece of literature on the internet for the different waves of and some symbols for light, wave, and length when I was trying to educate myself to speak on something else, but briefly, because I can't go really in depth. I don't have a working action conversation. It's like learning a new language. But they're putting it on. Now they have this medicine that they speak of, something iodine. But they're saying that in New York, the manufacturer of this iodine pill for radiation, they don't have any. Like, it's been sold out. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. I don't know radiation sickness, if it's the light from the sun at this stage with this setup or whatever, with the UVs, and then the microwaves of the large antennas that they just installed, making it whatever, for the cell towers. But here, I'll put this on. And then later on, after this piece, they go into something called an ivermectin. Je ne sais pas, non so, I don't know. I never heard of it. Today, they showed a recap of a doctor's debate that looked like it was in several outlets. They spoke about it a lot. I missed it. It didn't broadcast at a time where I was seated and trying to watch. Do I say it's for benediction? For good diction, bene, in Italiano, bene, and then diction, perhaps.
To be about what's happening in Ukraine. And yes, we've talked about, and it's been thrown about, talking about the possible nuclear attack here. But specifically, you're talking about there's talk of a shortage of a drug that could treat radiation.
Exactly. So we're here talking about the merger of a medical headline in response to the headline of the events in Ukraine. So what we're talking about now is reaction in response to the potential nuclear disaster that has been in the headlines. Europeans panic buying iodine pills, leading to a shortage both in Europe and here in the United States. We're talking about a drug called Ki, potassium iodide, that is used to protect our thyroid gland from radiation after a possible nuclear attack. The only FDA-approved manufacturer of this medication, completely out of stock.
Now they say that it's out of stock. My whole thing is, how do you test for it? What are the signs and the symptoms of it? Potassium iodine. How much do you take? It says the demand not seen this high since Fukushima. And again, no idea. Like, this is even the amount of information that's necessary to self-repair is being held at, I mean, it's not offered. I've gone to several doctors. Since 2016, I've been in the hospital, and they have not offered me testing for overexposure, or they have not offered me any type of education as to radiation, like counterbalance, or what it might do, what it might feel like, there's been nothing.
Of the adult
dose. Even with trips to the hospital.
Dose, we have not seen demand this high since the Fukushima disaster. So this is a significant.
And while I was in the hospital on those visits, The first one, especially in 2016, I specifically asked for a national security representative. I specifically asked for FBI, CIA, someone who's in the know of something that's family related. They denied me even that simple request of a family member, whether it be big brother or little brother. Nobody was by my side.
Significant issue, and again, just an example of how there's a domino effect from a political headline to the medical.
All right, Dr. Jen, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to turn now to ABC's Faith Abube in Washington with the latest headlines for us. Good afternoon, Faith.
Hey, good afternoon to you, Amy. Good to see you guys. Let's begin here with the latest on the war overseas. Countless families in Ukraine escaping that brutal Russian bombardment, but in constant.
Here's the piece on this ivermectin that I've never even heard of until today. Apparently it had some kind of campaign, it sounds like, with it. I don't know what about.
Cancer, not high risk. False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your provider if Cologuard is right for you.
We're in. Welcome back to GMA3, everybody. This week, as COVID-19 related restrictions are lifted in many states and the case counts continue to fall, the debate over a controversial drug continues.
That's right. The anti-parasite medication called ivermectin has been touted by some as a miracle drug for COVID-19, but it is not a recommended or proven remedy. And now ABC News senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami is separating fact from fiction.
The controversy around ivermectin.
Ivermectin.
Should ivermectin be used to treat COVID-19?
People want to believe in miracles.
People just come in, oh, do you have ivermectin? Pay for it and go.
And one of the latest false hopes is in a drug that every pillar of the medical community says should not be used to treat.
Now that's interesting. They say pillar. Is that Pillar or is that Piller? Just curious. This is the synthetic market.
Treat COVID outside of clinical trials.
To date, there's been no studies that have been shown to prove that ivermectin works in the prevention or treatment of COVID-19.
But there are popular voices.
Because there's also a natural remedies market with elixirs, botanicals, naturally grown substances. I would hate for the synthetics and for the naturals to get into a fight over really discreet information.
Suggesting that it works.
I feel pretty incredible.
There is this treatment in ivermectin.
What Joe Rogan and others are saying hasn't been proven, but in this divided world where people are fighting over how to respond to the pandemic, the explosion of interest in ivermectin has led to a booming online industry.
Again, I'm not online. I never even heard of this thing. I only know it because they had a recap session today after here they go into great detail. It's almost like it feels like a sideways sales pitch. Meanwhile, the more pressing issue of if you get exposed to radiation or high levels of radiation, like how do you test? Where do you go? What does it look or feel like? That's symptomatic of it. And what's the remedy for it? Those simple things that are actually pertinent information based on the world we're in today go completely ignored. Meanwhile, the obscene has like a full length, I don't know if it's an advertisement, a commercial, a buyer beware, if it's to promote a new secret recipe to see how many people will buy it in like some placebo campaign. I'm really not sure what the humans are up to. It's very confusing. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's March 7th, 2022.